last time we did a lot of questioning. So I thought we must go back to artworks and see art and possibly get answers to what we were inquiring. We listed out keywords and we asked questions to ourselves. And I thought, let us do one thing. Let us get clarity by seeing work, because what I did all the time, all my life, as a teacher and as a student, I looked at artworks and I kind of thought about how this artist must have seen something, how he has able to paint something like this, not just in a question, in a sense of wonder, but even in a in a way of inquiring that can I adopt to his way of seeing so that I can learn something, how he sees, how he experiences. And I think that is what art also is all about, because if you are saying that I express what I feel and other person understand, other one, the viewer who is looking at my art is actually also understanding what is going on in my mind, what possibly are my experiences and things like that. So I thought, why I should not do that when I look at art and ask myself. Because I wanted to share this photograph. This is a photo collage of an artist who is still alive, a British painter called David Hockney. And this photo collage or montage or whatever you call it, he created it from a point of view that he wanted to map actually how we see something. When we meet somebody and when you are talking to that person, at the same time, though we are listening to that person, we also look at his hair, his nose, his eyes, if specs are there, specs, lips, everything in parts. So he actually captured his, a person like that when he is meeting him. Many people say that, oh, this is his cubist work and things like that. Of course it is. But most importantly, I find it fascinating that he tried to map through a work of art how actually he saw a face of a person in front of him. And as his eyes kind of move on that face when he is talking to that person or seeing him, meeting him, he actually clicked that many photographs and brought them together. And so he says that when we see something, we are also seeing things in parts, and all those parts get connected, and then it becomes our experience. And that is something very interesting, I feel. And, also, I wanted to also say that since mankind developed, discovered, invented tools which enhanced his or mankind's perception, his seeing had changed drastically. For example, when we see sport event, any sport event, the technology had changed the way we experience it. When we look at tennis, when we look at Olympics, when we look at cricket, the way technology has provided experiences, it gives us a very micro level experience as well as multi-dimensional ways to see the same event. And it is something amazing. And I want to take back to that. like, this is Albert Durer's painting of a rabbit. And we all know that actually to paint something like this, he used a lens, So before camera, since Renaissance, artists, many of them secretly used lens like a shoebox camera. And they took the impression of a reality on a canvas or on a paper, and they will trace from that impression and do a very photographic kind of a rendering. And nobody declared that because it was a business secret, because not everybody could paint so realistically. And David Hockney actually did a research of it, about it, and created a book and a documentary called Secret Knowledge. So invention of camera, therefore, changed the way, our way of seeing the world. It led to imagine with a question how the world may appear in different angles, which is very, very critical. As camera is understood, thought about as an independent perceptive tool similar to mankind's perception process. And that is what people do. Lens, microscope, camera, telescope, all are extensions of human perception enhancing tools. We choose what we want to see, line, color, texture. But before that, let us see how mankind is using a camera as an independent perception tool in wildlife study. And because of which, we are able to see the animals in never seen before ways. We will never be able to see elephant in these angles. Isn't it amazing? We can see snow leopards, we can see so many animals, we can see so many insects. And I don't know if you follow, but if you follow, the famous man, David Attenborough. Now he is 95 years old and still working. And the kind of a world, animal world he has presented to us, that also is because of technology, where we can perceive the world, we can see the world in such a different way. And because of camera, we can see what we want to see from that visual experience. It is very, very critical. If we want, we can look at the color. If we want, we can look at the line. If we want, look at the texture. And that is what artists do. I feel we need to wonder about our process of perception, because we are looking at a colorful object and our brain translates it into black and white image, and we are able to do a charcoal or a pencil shading. You just see the phenomena which is happening. It is amazing phenomena which brain is doing for us, that when we want, without changing the visual perception, it is translated into black and white. When we want, we can only focus on the line. When we want, we can only focus on the texture. I think it is an amazing analytical process of perception which brain allows us. And therefore, painters could see so many different ways. Look at, this is Claude Monet from an ism or an art movement which is known as Impressionism. And here you can see, what can you see? Can you tell me what do you see? Don't tell me I can see a lady with the umbrella. Okay. Monet doesn't want to paint that. What do you see? What do you feel?
It feels like it is a windy day.
Yes, it is a windy day. It is an afternoon, okay, possibly around 3 o'clock or something, because if you look at the shadow of the lady, and it is windy day, and because of camera, artists realized for the first time that visual is not static and frozen. It is something which is always changing, second by second, moment by moment. And they said, my God, how am I going to paint it? And that's why when they tried to paint, they felt, oh, I will have to change my way of painting. And that's what Monet is doing. He's trying to capture that light in a particular moment when wind is there. It is tough, you know. This is another painter. On your left, you can see Manet. He painted himself, his self-portrait, where he is not painting himself. He is painting only the light which is falling on him. So if you look at this painting, you know, it is so flat, it is like Rangoli, you know. There is no weight, there is no body, there is only color and different tones of that color. Everything looks flat, no details at all. And the same Manet is painted by somebody where he looks completely 3D. So can you see that Manet sees himself 3D, but he chooses only to paint light and color? I feel that is an amazing thing which artists do, that they experience the world and slice the experience and choose what they want to choose out of it. You know? So according to me, visual experience or experience is like a multi-layered cake or multi-layered sandwich or a biscuit. You know, one layer is line, another layer might be color, another might be texture, and all the layers become one visual. Artist is able to slice it and use it the way they want. Now see, because of the camera, how artists could visualize and experience the world around them in a very, very different way. Look at the angles in which this restaurant is seen by American painter Edward Hopper. Amazing it is. Look at the way the white tablecloth and white apron and the bow of the lady who is serving, how they create some kind of a very unique way. I don't know if you remember Nitin Kulkarni saying that he saw his father one day in such a different angle that he couldn't believe that he is seeing his father. Is it his father? That's what he started wondering. Angle, a very different angle to look at. That's what artists are doing. Look at this painter, Edward Degas, from same Impressionism, and look at the orchestra he is painting, because this is a live orchestra, being played when the ballet dance is going on the stage. And its subject is not ballerinas anymore. Its subject is this view from below the stage. Every stage in front of them have the music for the space for the musicians, which is slightly lower than the stage level. And he goes on inventing the different angles to perceive the world of dancers and their performances. So when we are talking about seeing, we are talking about all these things. It is not just seeing with the eyes, it is also becoming aware that what is happening when we are also drawing and painting, because when that is a part of seeing, because we are translating what we are seeing in terms of line drawing, or in terms of color painting, or in terms of some black and white shading and things like that. Because artists, translate the visual experience in the form of dot, dash, line, shapes. And therefore, actually, when artist really wants to do photographic kind of a rendering, they have to do a lot of effort. Most of the times they have to take a photograph, and draw from it. I'm showing you an example of it. This artist is called, his name is Chuck Close. He died recently. And what you're seeing is not a photograph, but his painting. And everybody will say, oh, wow, how detailed it is, and things like that. But this is not the way we will normally see anything with the normal eyes. We will be able to see so much of detail. Even if we spend time, it will not be the way it is. It will be different than what camera captures. So he captured his own self in a photograph and copied that photograph, because photograph gave him a much sharper, detailed reality than what a normal perception would have given him. And he wanted that, and he used it. But mostly, we want something which helps us to understand our experience. We mostly use similitude as a nature of our experience. You know, we don't want everything to be photographic. We want something which conveys what we want to convey. Because,
Sir,
yes,
Sir, in the olden times, when the like in 19th and 18th century, when people used to do their own portrait, how they used to do it? By seeing in the mirror or by photograph?
no, before camera, it was only from mirror. Even today, many people do it from mirror. If they choose to, they choose it from photograph.
Sir, but for drawing the textures and the depth of the portrait, people will not be able to see, because if they move from their place completely, the angle and everything will be
No.
changed.
You know, for that, your paper should be in front of you, not in front of you on the table, but in front of you, literally on the easel. And your mirror needs to be next to it. So what do? You don't do like this. You just move your eyes. You move your eyes from the mirror to the canvas, that's it, and draw. So that arrangement itself, and sitting like that and doing a drawing like that itself is a skill. And when you are able to do that, you are able to draw. And that is why again and again I am bringing your attention back that when we saw the ant, when we saw so many did exercises about seeing, we realized that seeing is not just visual process. It gets emotions along with it. It gets so many sensory experiences along with it. And therefore, when we are drawing something, it is not just what we are seeing. It is also these sensory experiences, even our emotion, are going to be a part of what we are drawing. Okay. And that's why when we want very much visual exactitude, we have to take a photograph. Otherwise, artists actually don't need exactitude. They don't want exact photo-like thing. They want the image to convey what they are feeling. Manet wants to paint the light falling on him. Okay. Degas wants to paint that angle in which he's finding that entire visual interesting. He's discovering that angle. So he wants to paint that. So he doesn't say that, you know, I need to have each and every hair of that person to be painted. No. Our problem is, our challenge in art is that we feel that because we can see something and draw, art is about that. No, art is about the intention, why I want to draw that. It is actually about that. Seeing it and drawing it is just a way of creating art. Okay. Somebody might take a photograph and copy it. Somebody might look at it and copy it. Somebody might memorize and copy it or paint it. It doesn't matter. The intention is more important. Why I feel like doing that. Okay. And that is why mankind's visual language actually is based on similitude. We always just want to create metaphor to convey what we want to convey. Okay, because our need is to convey. That is our need is not to create art. Our need is to convey through art. And that's why you will be fascinated what mankind did since prehistory. Look at these amazing stones. You know, and I want to see especially this one on the right hand side over here. This one. You can see my cursor moving around it. Okay. This stone is discovered by man. It is not made by man. Okay. Mankind was doing, you know, once upon a time like Flintstones. You must have seen Flintstones. He was making everything of stone. And therefore he's looking at hundreds and thousands of stones. And he discovered this. And he said, oh my God, it looks like a human face. Like a castaway coconut, you know, coconut man or whatever it is. And he kept it aside. And then he found so many stones or pebbles which looked like human face. And he said, oh my God, this is magic. Even today, many people feel they discover some fruit in which something like Ganesh is appearing. It is the same thing happening since prehistory. And mankind is doing stone tools, and he is also then started shaping stones for his need. And you know, this stone, can you see this stone tool? The blade which he has made. This is a unique blade in the entire history. Because in this blade, this shell, you can see, was already fossilized when mankind found this stone. And he kept it. He did not remove it. He could have removed it. But he felt, oh, this looks something nice. And he kept it over there. And that is very important because this is the proof that mankind had developed a kind of aesthetic sense. He felt, oh, this looks pleasing. Let me keep it as it is. And that is why we say we want to create something similar to what we, and then look at these amazing round stones which he has carved and made. What are they? Can you guess what are they? Any wild guess?
Are they like massage balls or something?
Massage balls. Yes, you are close to it, but just change the function.
Are they like balls to throw at animals or something?
You are again very close. Think about a specific function. You know, these balls are actually to smash the bones so that they can take out bone marrow to eat. And therefore, these stones, these rounded stones, are having teeth so that it will help them to crack the bone. And they're amazing sculptures, you know, amazing tools, amazing technology. I will also show you what I'm constantly talking about, similitude. Look at these sculptures. They are just made with a stick which you can bend like, you know, grass, and it converted into an animal. Isn't it amazing? Imagine mankind, prehistoric man, in the evolutionary time, making as simple as this, bending a twig and making a sculpture. That is why I'm saying that our language is made of similitude. We want something which looks like what our experience is and what I can use to convey what I want to convey. And that is why even in ancient Indian art, people said that sculptors are using metaphorical language even to create sculptures like this Shiva on the right hand side of your screen. Why I'm showing this sculpture with this animal next to it? We know that this animal is not his ride, correct? Can anybody guess? Similitude.
Sir, because the face of both the sculpture and the animal is almost the same.
Face, but he is human and he is animal.
Sir, the nose pattern and the eyes.
Nose pattern. No. You know, look at his torso carefully. Look at this part. Okay. This part looks like the animal head seen from front angle. So why I'm showing you this? Because now everywhere in the world, people feel that they need to learn, like the European method, clinical anatomy to learn how to draw human figures. But Indian sculptors could do better than that without knowing it or without following that path, because they used metaphor as a way of creating images. So text is full of things. Text will say, eyes should look like the shape of a fish, face should be like this, torso should be like this, hand should be like an elephant trunk, legs should be like this. There will be so many of the, things discussed in reference to how it should look like. And then you get the image, because in the end, what do you want to convey? You want to convey that, oh, Shiva is standing next to Nandi. That's it. So our language, Indian art, and see, this is what even in the Western world people are doing. This sculpture is of a very famous sculptor called Brancusi. And can you guess what exactly is the subject of the sculpture?
Seal.
Exactly. And the way the seal's body movement is there, and this viewer is mimicking his action. Isn't it beautiful that what you want to convey, a viewer is doing something exactly the same? Wow. Artists, develop habit of using hand-eye coordination to record what their eyes are seeing and what they are feeling on a sensory level and emotional level. And that is how the drawn image gets created. And that's why you will find they learn to change the quality of line as per the sensory feeling and emotional experience. So artists actually are creating metaphor when they are drawing, even whatever looks, image which looks very, very real. And why I'm saying this, look at this drawing by David Hockney. And you can see, I will zoom in, you can see how he uses dots and dashes to suggest the stubble, to suggest the texture of the skin. And he uses different kind of line for his features. And he uses different kind of line for this nice thin hair, isn't it? So this image may look like his friend or the person he is drawing, but it is not exactly like that necessarily. like what we did in Chaklo's photographic image. But he is able to convey what he's seeing. He's seeing the textures. He's feeling the textures. He's feeling a lot of affection for his friend. All that is trying to, he's trying to put it in the image which he's drawing. And look at this drawing of Van Gogh. How he's looking at a field and he's converting the field into dot, dash, and line. Isn't it amazing? This is what, our brain, many a times, I'm always fascinated by brain. Our brain is so smarter than us, that it sees one thing and translates it in so many different ways. It is like a prism, literally. And look at the same Van Gogh using the lines to convey the movement of the cloud, movement of the grass, movement due to the wind. So this is not just the line which is being seen. This is the line which is seen as well as felt. And look at this. This is a drawing by an artist called Lucien Freud. And isn't it amazing? Look at the hair, eyebrows, eyes. His eyes look like a chameleon's eyes, Big ones and move, they may move here and there. And we get a sense that Lucien Freud must have looked at this man for hours, possibly, to be able to see things in so much of detail. So when we are talking about seeing, it means all these things. That is what Nitin Kulkarni and Imarte sir, everybody are trying to tell you. This is also Lucien Freud's painting. First of all, I will never paint this. So many complex things. Correct? We will say, I will paint something which is less complex. So many leaves, so many twigs, so many things. My God. Or I will say, I will take photograph and then zoom in the photograph and draw from it. But he did it from real life. So he must be finding something really interesting in it. That's why he is able to invest so much of time in his experiences. Look at this. This is American painter called Andrew White. And all these people's paintings, people say, and mostly they say, wow, how many details. And the next question they ask, how much time you took to do this, And I feel it is a useless question, because do you feel that if I just sit over there and look at that farmland, I will be able to get that many details? No. Andrew White lived on the ranch throughout his life. He knew that ranch so many, like he had seen it like 100,000 times. He knows these people who stay on it. And therefore, he is not only painting that grass, but also the shoes of the farmer, the coat, the movement. So it is something like, what you were talking about, that you were trying to bring the experience of object in your body, isn't it? In the space, form, body, that kind of a lecture. Acha, 1 minute. I want that extension and charge. So, Andrew White is not only seeing things, he also knows how it feels, that texture. If he closes his eyes, he knows that. He can smell that grass. And from all those memories, all those experiences also, he knows that, okay, I can stop here. And now I don't want to paint any more grass. Because how to decide how many, some people may count how many things are there, and they may say, okay, painting with 5,000 grass blades, it is Useless. He is not doing that. Okay. So look at his other painting. Isn't it amazing? So you can paint something like this only if you are living with this kind of a subject. And you know it so well, you can feel it so well that you can paint it. It is not just about spending too much of time or taking a lot of time to paint and things like that. And look at this. This is by a painter called Jmw Turner. And when I look at this painting, I'm scared of water. So I find it very, very scary. I can feel the movement of the sea, you know, how it must be for those people who are in those boats. And I am amazed how we can paint something like this. You can't paint something like this from memory, you know, or imagination. You need to see something like this in real life. And look at this. When I saw this painting for the first time, I said, how he can paint the foam of the waves like this? How he can be so precise? And this is all before photography was invented, you know. Isn't it amazing? Photography came and photography showed how the water splash happens. And post photography also, artists have done that. Now we can see David Hockney's painting, The Great Splash. And you know, when you see this, it is very different than what camera is showing you. But it conveys what he wanted to convey, that in the afternoon, somebody had jumped in the pool and a sound is there because of that. And the painting is about all that, you know. Painting is about jumping in the swimming pool in the afternoon and how the water feels on the body when it is the sunlight of afternoon, you know, and the heat is there. And how that sound is there. And look at this. This is a very famous painting by a Japanese artist called Hiroshige. It is a print. The title of this work is The Great Wave of Kanagawa. And when I saw this, I said, how this man knows how the foam appears like the fingers, you know, literally. So after seeing this print, I went back to the beach and actually saw the waves and the foam. And I realized that, yes, exactly, this is how they appear. This is how the form of a foam is when the wave is crashing and reaching to the shore. So what I'm trying to tell you is that actual observation and then the memory is created by that, because when you are seeing, you're also feeling a lot of senses. As I said about the David Hockney, it is not about the sound of somebody jumping in the water and the shape of a splash. It is also about jumping in the pool in the afternoon. So it is about the sensory experience of touch as well. So when we are seeing, we are not just seeing, we are not camera, we are human being. So we can feel many senses when we are seeing. And we develop emotional response as well. And all that creates memory. And because of that, we create metaphors to understand our experience. You know, we use a lot of metaphors in daily life. Correct? You know, every share market in the world use 2 metaphors. You know that, which one they are? Hello.
Big bull.
Can you come again?
Big bull. Bull.
Of course. Bull. Yes, bull is the one. And which is the other one?
I don't know that.
Other one is bear. Okay. So they will say market is bullish, or they will say market is, bear is overpowering it. So what is the relation with bull and the bear with the money, Correct. So nobody asked them. Bombay Stock Exchange has a huge sculpture of a bull in front of it. Because bull throws you upward and bear grabs you downward. So they want market to go up. They don't want market to go down. Okay. We also, if we don't like somebody, we may say that that person is like that animal. Okay. What are we doing? We are creating metaphor. We are using metaphor. Correct. When small children are scared of injection, parents tell them, actually, you will not feel anything. You will feel as if ant has bitten you. So what are they doing? The pinch of the injection, they are comparing it to the ant bite, This artist, which we are seeing on screen, has created a metaphor in this visual. Can we identify what he's trying to convey through that? Please, it is there in front of you. See carefully.
I don't know, but I think he seems to be inside those waves. He's in that.
Yeah, okay. What about the waves? You were saying something I couldn't understand. Can you repeat what you're saying?
Like he's in that, inside that,
He's inside the wave. That is what
Yeah.
you're saying. Okay. Yeah, but I'm talking about what he's trying to convey through this picture.
Flood is taking place. Flood is going on that place.
Flood is going on. But that is information, Information is not metaphor. Correct.
Is it sunset
Sunset.
time?
Yeah, it might be evening time because birds are flying. Am I saying? Okay.
Yes.
Is he trying to represent a tsunami or something? Because Japan is very prone to tsunami.
Yes, there is something like tsunami. But what is he trying to tell you?
The
Is he trying
wildness
to
of
tell you
the,
tsunami is coming? No, he doesn't want to tell you that. Yes, what you're saying, Kathy?
the wildness of the waves and water. The
Yes, but
force of
what
it.
is it? How is he communicating that to you?
In a form.
Yes, sorry. Can you say that again?
Is it with the mountain at the back?
Mountain at the back, yes.
There are skyscrapers also, like representation of buildings.
Yes, yes. So you will find that first of all, it's showing you wave. If you look at a Chinese book of how to draw things, they tell you that waves and mountains are very similar. That is a statement they make. So if you learn how to draw waves, you will also be able to draw mountains. Only you will have to do little changes in the kind of a line you use. And that's what he is doing over here. He is first of all showing you that waves are like mountains. And he has put back the famous mountain from Japan, Mount Fuji, behind the wave. So he is in a way telling you the waves are as big as mountain. They are giant waves. Somebody said tsunami. So he's talking about how big are they? They are as big as mountain. How to convey that in a picture? He is showing you how to convey that in a picture without saying a single word. Isn't it fabulous? So when we experience, when we see things, when we feel things, if we give time to ourselves in our mind, that experience will generate an image which will create, which will tell you what is your experience. And that image will be actually a metaphor. You need to know that. Then only you will be able to use it. See how poetic the Japanese artist can be. What is he trying to tell you over here?
The birds are passing by the ocean.
Yeah, but that is like a very, very dry way of saying it. He is in a way trying to create a possibility of imagination that birds are emerging from the foam of the sea. So you will find that the foam shape and bird shape are very, very similar. And somewhere you don't know from where the bird emerged in the sky. And they are very close to the sea wave. And it is just over there. Amazing. Correct. So the thing is, we need to know that this is also another one. Look at it. This is about this man who was throughout his life a samurai and a great samurai. He killed many people in his lifetime. And he has become old now. And he gets hallucinations. You know hallucinations? Okay. Many old people get hallucinations. So this artist has tried to show the landscape because it is winter, snow is everywhere. And he has also shown you what he is seeing in that landscape. Because his mind is full of violence. You know, that memory of life, full of war and killing. And that's why he is trying to get his sword, you know, because he is scared of what he sees. So do you see what he is seeing in the snow?
Lot of skulls.
Yes. Skulls, skeletons, bones. And how beautifully artist has kind of camouflaged it with the natural element of snow. Isn't it fabulous? Even this painting is one of my favorite, you know. When I talk about metaphor, this painting is by a painter called Prabhakar Baravi, and the title of this painting is The Last Call. Okay, the title of the painting is The Last Call. So what do you see over here? What does artist trying to tell you?
Everything is over, like the trees are cutted off, and even it is shown that the person is lying in a hole. It means that all the people are dead and are buried inside the ground.
Where is the person?
Above.
Over here. Over here.
No, beside.
Here.
There is a hole, a semicircle.
This black hole.
No.
Over here. Over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it that? I don't know if it is that. They are just rocks at the bottom of the lake or something. You want to see in detail, you can see it over here. I will show you part by part. So can you see that how there is no, beside this brown, there is no color which talks about a dry soil, but still it is conveyed to us that it is something about dryness, drought, etc., etc., isn't it? But then what is this black shape in the center doing? You know, inside the black shape, there is this. Can you see what is there over here? Or no?
A bird's head.
Yes, upside down. And that bird is calling. You know, it is not just a bird. It is giving a bird call. But what is this black shape all about?
Is it the underground well?
Underground well, okay.
That's underground well.
Okay. So what I will do, I will not talk about what that black shape is, because I understood it after at least 10, 12 years. Okay. Why he might have used, I could never ask him why he did that. Okay. But now I have understood, that's what I feel. I might be wrong also. So I leave it to you. You keep looking at this, is available on internet. You can keep looking at it again and again. Every time Greta Thunberg talks about global warming and all that, you can look at this painting, because it, in a way, you have said that trees are being cut and well is dry and this and that. You can look at it and you may get an insight what that black shape is doing. I'm showing you these sculptures exhibited in a gallery space. Sculptor is Alberto Giacometti. Okay. And I love the way these artworks are exhibited, because it reminded me of what you did in Space Body Form, that session, those two sessions, where you constantly got up from the chair and did some body movement and moved a point in your body and all that experience, where you used body as a tool to receive all the experiences around you. I feel when I look at these sculptures are not only about the person walking or person standing, it is also about how the person is standing or walking in a particular space. Don't you think that space is important in this sculpture? If I show you just, because these sculptures are not very tall, okay, not very big. There are small sculptures. But the way when we see them in a gallery space, you get a feel that, oh, that person is walking actually in a real space. So artist is visualizing the sculpture along with that space. So if you look at this sculpture in a tiny box, you will not be able to understand anything. And
Sir,
yes.
Sir, when you said that when the people are moving, they are filling the blank space. They are like objects, objects around filling the space. So indirectly, all the people are doing art, no, because they are filling the space, a blank paper, by moving themselves.
Yeah, of course. He is a sculptor, so he doing through sculpture. Painters do it with on a paper, on a canvas. Or musicians will do it through the music. He will experience it and put it through a sound. Or dancer will do it with using his body An actor will do the same. That is what we saw in Shakuntala Kulkarni's videos, isn't it? That she herself is performing in the video. And that is why I want to also show you this experience, this work by Picasso. And the title of it is Acrobat. And actually this acrobat is doing a cartwheel, you know, cartwheel. Many of you might be able to do it. I can't do it. But I felt, oh wow, he has captured that movement of cartwheel, that somebody is cartwheeling in front of you. And we know that the human figure is not like this, but he has captured. That is why I'm saying that this work is not exactly like a human figure's movement of cartwheeling, but it conveys that experience, or it suggests that experience. And you know, that is what all the artists do. They are trying to convey you something. Like this painting is by a painter from India, of course, in a pre-independence era, called Nain Sukh. Okay, he is from Himachal Pradesh, actually. And what do we call now? Uttaranchal and all that area. And you can see that he is showing a loneliness of a king on a dark, cloudy day. And something similar is done by American painter. He is also talking about loneliness of a man working and living in the city. So artists may move in different times. They might be of different eras. They might be using different style of art, but they are creating images to convey what they want to convey. And we get caught up in time, in styles, in isms, in movements, all that. Let's not get into that. Both the ladies are experiencing loneliness, one in the daytime, other in the nighttime. Same. Now, as we are talking about it, I want to again show you two paintings. On the right hand side, I hope I am, oh, sorry, let me stop showing you the. On the right, you can see a fireplace painting, not fireplace, but people sitting around the fire in winter. And you know, winter has a very special darkness. That darkness is different than summer and rainy season. Winter's darkness is very dense, dark, quiet darkness. And I feel Nansuk captures that. And people are clad in the shawls and sitting around the fire. And on the left, where you see all the so many geometrical shapes, that painting is by a German painter around World War time called Paul Klee. And the title of the painting is Full Moon, Fire at the Full Moon. So people search for fire, you know, where is fire? Because he's not showing you fire literally, but he's conveying the experience, he's not conveying the object. Okay, if how the fire is being created. Right? Moon, he can't say he has to paint a circle because it is full moon he's talking about, but that is what it is. I love this painting of Paul Klee. Okay. The title of the painting is Night Bloomers. The flowers, there are some particular flowers which bloom in the night. And he is not talking about which flowers, why are they having geometrical shape. All those are very questions which we should not ask, because then if we ask them, we will miss the metaphor which he's using. He's not talking about, okay, this plant is called this and these flowers are called this and they bloom on after these many months. He's not giving you information like that. He's talking about the experience of seeing these flowers possibly, and when you discover them in the night, the joy which you get, that oh, these are bloomed in the night. So that experience that everything is dark and something is blooming, that is what he is conveying. So it is not that because he is artist from the past, he is successful in what he's conveying. We can ask him that, do I feel like that? Okay. I might say that I like this painting. It doesn't mean that you have to like it. You can ask yourself, do I feel darkness? Do I feel the action of blooming or something blooming? How it is conveyed to me? Questions like that. Look at this. I love this painting. Because it conveys, when we dance, how weird we look many a times. Okay. I feel this painting captures that amazingly. And exactly that sense of rhythm and sense of movement, which artist is trying to capture over here, something similar is captured by Henry Matisse in a different way. So it doesn't matter if people are draped or not draped. What their artists are trying to convey is that sense of rhythm, because people are not just dancing because they are drunk or something. They are dancing to this music. So that rhythm is what artist is conveying. Action is of dancing, no doubt. But the experience is you are seeing somebody dancing and you are seeing a rhythmic movement and you are trying to convey that through the picture. That is why Matisse says that, do I need to paint the dress? Do I need to show them who are they? How do they appear? All of them look orange in color. It's okay. Because I'm not trying to convey what I saw. I'm trying to convey what I experienced. Look at this amazing. Same experience in two different styles. On the left is American painter Edward Hopper. And on the right is a painter, I don't know the painter's name, but he is from Indian miniature. And same action, nobody is talking to each other. They are seeing in different angles. So artist is not conveying, okay, lady is playing a piano and man is reading a newspaper. No, he's not trying to tell you that. He's saying something is wrong between them. They have fought with each other. There is a tension in the room. Are you getting what I'm saying? And same is conveyed by a miniature painter. So when we see the miniature painting, we should enjoy looking at the carpet, how beautiful it is drawn, and dress and this and that. But we also need to understand that artist is not intending to show you that. He's trying to tell you something else. When I see this painting, I was recollecting the video of Shakuntala Kulkarni. A person is in the passage, dark passage. Though here it is more wider space. Look at this. I like this painting again. You know why? What do you feel when you look at this painting?
A procession?
Procession. Yeah, but that is what I asked, a very specific question. I'm not asking you what do you see. We can see that, okay, some people are blowing the trumpet, correct, or whatever that instrument is called. I asked you, what do you feel?
We feel energetic
Energetic. Okay, why?
because the people in the front are also playing the trumpets very energetically with their all forces.
Exactly. So look at the wonderful thing that we are looking at a painting, but we are experiencing sound. And through that energy, isn't it? The number of people in that picture and the size of that musical instrument is so large that it conveys that, the intensity of that sound. That's why she said that I feel energetic. Then yes.
Sir, but this is already shown in the painting. You said last class that we have to observe the things that are not matched easily or not connected. Two different things. So sound is already connected and all the energeticness, everything is connected in the painting. No?
Yes. So am I contradicting myself?
But then you said that we have to match two things which are not similar.
So that we will come to that point. Okay. See, Japanese painter matched, in a sense, he brought together something which looked similar to him. Wave, temporarily it looked similar to the mountain. So he brought together and created a metaphor. Correct. Prabhakar Barve thought about that black shape and something, I don't know. So he has brought something together and he has conveyed something. Artist here understands the different, positions of the head, the different way of holding that musical instrument, and the intensity of blowing that instrument, and then the size in this particular frame. He understands the proportion and he conveys what cannot be conveyed through a visual medium like a painting, sound. Okay. Even this painting, suppose Krishna and Radha are together, and that is information, no? Krishna and Radha with the umbrella on a hill, that is information. What the painting is also trying to tell you, what is the experience over here? What do we experience in the rainy day, dark, cloudy day?
Thunder, cold breezes.
Exactly. So that thunder, that chill in the weather, and the wind. So painting is about that how they're experiencing it. So that is what I'm trying to tell you, that most of the times visual art is misunderstood because visual art is looked upon what it is trying to show you. And we look at it as information. But information is just a part of a very upper layer of our experience. Okay, this is David Hockney's work, and I love this landscape because, it tells me how the experience and memory of the travel is. So this painting is not about a view of a road. No, this painting is about that entire memory trying to convey through one visual, because he has to paint one visual at a time. So he kind of does some things which are not looking real, the way road bends and the way trees bend and things like that. And he's okay with it. And I am showing you this because we also talked about, restoration and all that. You won't imagine. When I was in college, Michelangelo's paintings were not cleaned. And I have books of Michelangelo where all the pictures are dark and gloomy and horrible. And then one day I saw National Geographic magazine, which printed the cleaned paintings, and I couldn't believe because they have so many fresh colors. It feels as if he has painted it yesterday. So I'm showing you this image to show you the difference between. So I bought new books of Michelangelo. You people are lucky. All the books which are printed about Michelangelo now all have cleaned paintings and beautiful paintings you can see. And I studied with all these dark, gloomy paintings. So our experience, like restoration, changes the way we understand art of the past as well. Now I'm actually going to, talking about our experiencing part. It's very natural to live using shapes, colors, and patterns. That is what we do all the time. That is what we do when we decide how we will comb our hair, what dress we will wear, what color combination we will have, etc., etc. Because we are visual creatures. And that is what all the other creatures around us also do. We know these birds from, you must have seen in the wild documentary. We convey things like animals through visual patterns. That is what we do. Look at it, isn't it amazing? We never look at our patterns unless until we are watching a fashion show. But look at these. These are from India. Look at this. Of course, you can't do this and go to office in Mumbai, for example. But we do this moderately when we do makeup. Even men do the same. What are they? You are converting a part of your body in a pattern, correct? And the same thing we do to organize our goods, bringing a sense of order, which gives a sense of stability, order, security. That is what Nikhil talked about. Arrangement in the house. What is the experience of the house? So actually, why to do kolam, or why to do rangoli every day? Because it just feels nice and pleasant, and it is an amazing experience to have every day. And nobody does it for you. You have to do it yourself. Look at these houses. This is from Burj. Look at the arrangement. Wow. Look at the arrangement. Look at the arrangement. It is everywhere. Okay. Look at this. So it is not, when we talk about experience of space, we are also talking about the space which is already organized. Most of the times people in Mumbai feel sad every day because the city is unorganized. It is a mess. Okay. If you go to a different city, which is much organized, you will not feel like that. You will not feel depressed and sad every day.
Sir, but even in Mumbai, everything is organized, but a bit differently, with a lot of complexation.
Of course, yes, of course. But you know, we see slums, we see mud, we see all these things. We feel potholes on the road, and then we feel, oh, why? You know, that way I'm saying. I know it is organized. I'm not a critique of Mumbai organization or a city planning. And then this sense of organization, organized thinking leads us to, that is what we are talking about, town planning and how the farms will be. Look at this. Look at this. How the architecture is arranged, organized. That is why when this order is destroyed by nature, we feel that. So this visual conveys us that that order has become a disorder because of a natural event. So visual signals, we use this visual sense of in life to communicate emotions using visual signals. The visual signals create visual impact through that generate emotions in the viewer. And I'm showing you the samurai armor, okay, which is supposed to create fear in the opponent before even you strike or fight. Look at the mask. The mask itself shows that, you know, so inside the person might be calm and quiet, but his mask creates fear in you. Look at it, how it is. And the same for a different emotion as well. And the same. So in Japan, these gardens are created so that you can sit and understand the harmony of nature. These are specially designed gardens where these are pavilions to come and sit and see and do nothing, just see. And look at how beautifully they are being created. So when you will be able to know that, when you will be able to create that, when you know what is the impact of the visual arrangement, which is done in a certain way. Correct. That's what I said, that when I want the energy in myself, I listen to Viku Vinayakam for 10 minutes and I get energy. I have understood that power of music. Same is over here with the visual. You go there, you get refreshed, come back. And the same applies to their flower arrangements in Japan. Imagine you are creating one like that, how you will feel. It is not just getting the flowers and arranging them. You are growing them, cutting them, shaping them. So what Prajakta was discussing in her session, looking at color, looking at texture, looking at shapes, what is the impact do they create? It is all used over here, isn't it? It is all used in the creation of those gardens. So seeing involves all these things. It also involves the space, the experience of space. Because if you don't understand experience in that space, how you will be able to create that garden? And the same applies to the food in Japan as well. This is sushi, and how it looks like a jewel, isn't it? Amazing it looks. And it is nothing but just cooked rice and a meat or a fish or whatever. And that is what the arrangement is. So all the efforts where we took today to talk about seeing, experiencing everything through your body, using body and space around you as a tool to understand experience, and then responding in the form of image using some line and whatever arrangement it creates. It is all about to provide you an experience that how actually it works for you. Okay, now I want to stop over here and show you few videos of an amazing artist which you should know about. Because last time I used a word called synesthesia, and I want you to know more about that, because that is an ability of our brain. Some people have that ability much stronger than others, but all of us are having the ability. That is why we say that that person is so sweet. Then one should ask how sweet it is. Is it as sweet as jaggery or a sugar or honey or jackfruit or mango or whatever? Correct? Because then it person who is saying that will be confused, because he is using metaphor to communicate how he feels about the person. So let us understand how we all have our brain as a power of synesthesia, and how we constantly create metaphors to understand our experiences. Especially in the rainy season and winter, different kind of winds blow, and each intensity of wind has a different name in Indian languages as well as luckily in English as well.
Imagine a world in which you see numbers and letters as color, even though they're printed in black, in which music or voices trigger a swirl of moving colored shapes, in which words and names fill your mouth with unusual flavors. Jail tastes like cold, hard bacon, while Derek tastes like earwax. Welcome to synesthesia, the neurological phenomenon that couples 2 or more senses in 4% of the population. A synesthete might not only hear my voice, but also see it, taste it, or feel it as a physical touch. Sharing the same root with anesthesia, meaning no sensation, synesthesia means joint sensation. Having one type, such as colored hearing, gives you a 50% chance of having a second, third, or fourth type. 1 in 90 among us experience graphemes, the written elements of language like letters, numerals, and punctuation marks, as saturated with color. Some even have gender or personality. For Gail, 3 is athletic and sporty. 9 is a vain, elitist girl. By contrast, the sound units of language, or phonemes, trigger synesthetic tastes. For James, college tastes like sausage, as does message and similar words with the "age" ending. Synesthesia is a trait like having blue eyes rather than a disorder, because there's nothing wrong. In fact, all the extra hooks endow synesthetes with superior memories. For example, a girl runs into someone she met long ago. Let's see, she had a green name. These are green. Deborah, Darby, Dorothy, Denise. Yes, her name is Denise. Once established in childhood, pairings remain fixed for life. Synesthetes inherit a biological propensity for hyperconnecting brain neurons, but then must be exposed to cultural artifacts such as calendars, food names, and alphabets. The amazing thing is that a single nucleotide change in the sequence of one's DNA alters perception. In this way, synesthesia provides a path to understanding subjective differences, how two people see the same thing differently. Take Sean, who prefers blue-tasting foods such as milk, oranges, and spinach. The gene heightens normally occurring connections between the taste area in his frontal lobe and the color area further back. But suppose in someone else that the gene acted in non-sensory areas, you'd then have the ability to link seemingly unrelated things, which is the definition of metaphor, seeing the similar in the dissimilar. Not surprisingly, synesthesia is more common in artists who excel at making metaphors, like novelist Vladimir Nabokov, painter David Hockney, and composers Billy Joel and Lady Gaga. But why do the rest of us non-synesthetes understand metaphors like sharp cheese or sweet person? It so happens that sight, sound, and movement already map to one another so closely that even bad ventriloquists convince us that the dummy is talking. Movies likewise convince us that the sound is coming from the actors' mouths rather than surrounding speakers. So, inwardly, we're all synesthetes, outwardly unaware of the perceptual couplings happening all the time. Crosstalk in the brain is the rule, not the exception. And that sounds like a sweet deal to me.
So actually the magicians use synesthesia for doing the magic.
Yes. And that is why, till few years back, I did not believe that metaphors can be created or all the people use metaphors all the time. But as I started understanding synesthesia as a neurological phenomenon, which is there in every person's brain, only artists use it and people notice it, but everybody uses it in a day-to-day language, correct? And we just don't notice it. When vegetable seller is selling, his fruits or vegetables, he's talking about how good they are in a different kind of words, correct? That's why if you go to a hotel in Mumbai, a normal hotel, and if you ask for a cold drink, most of the times people will not say specific brands. First of all, they will ask, "Thanda hai kya?" Correct. So they want something cold. Then the question will be, what thanda you want? Correct. And that's why when the waiter brings the bottle, he first shows you to check how cold it is, because otherwise you will complain. Correct. So cold drink is about thanda, meetha, and then fizzy. That's what it is about. Fizz is required. So understand that all are having, metaphor. I don't know the scientist, but there was one scientist who dreamt of an image of a snake whose tail, the snake was biting his own tail. And he saw that image. He got up in the morning and he has discovered something. I don't know which scientist it is. I'm not a science student. So I felt, oh, wow. If you look at the periodical table, which I have only looked at and not studied or understood, I find it fascinating because for each element in that, there is a visual symbol. And that visual symbol is not just kept like that. There is a meaning behind it. Okay. So what visual is doing over there? In a way, it is a symbol. It is a metaphor of what scientist is trying to convey about the quality of that element. Okay. So let us watch another video. So now I want to show you two videos about an artist who is alive and whose name is Andy Goldsworthy. And when I look at his art, I feel, oh wow, he's doing something what prehistoric man did, or oh wow, he's experiencing the space in so many different ways and things like that. So on the screen, you can see him walking through the bush. Okay, he's not mad, he is doing it with a certain sense.
There are a lot of contradictions in what I make, in a sense, and I still just trying to make sense of the world. You can walk on the path, or you can walk through the hedge. Two different ways of looking at the world. And I think that's the beauty of art, that it just makes you step aside off the normal way of walking or looking. People think that perhaps I should have such a deep understanding of nature that I just somehow float and glide through it effortlessly. Well, it's not like that, and I fall a lot.
Before he studied art, he was, and he still also is a farmer. So he is very much connected with nature, natural elements. And he doesn't use paints or anything like that. He only uses natural elements and does his art. So you saw him throwing the petals and all that. That is his art. Okay. Now that will be a different discussion why it is called art, etc., etc. But what he is trying to do is his experiences with the nature. He is creating certain things to convey what he is discovering. Okay. And he creates those images, which either can be seen by actually being there, or in the form of video, or in the form of photograph. So what he is doing is something very unusual for us, because we are still thinking about art in the form of painting or sculpting and things like that. But look at it from that perspective, that he has some experiences. He wants to convey it to you. How he can convey? So he says that I will use the same material which is providing me the experiences and create the images which are temporary, which are okay. And I will be able to share those experiences through those images and convey what I feel. Let me show you one more video, which is again like a small trailer kind of a thing. You can watch all these on YouTube later.
I've shook hands with the place and begun.
Be aware it is winter And in winter, he is doing work with the ice. Okay. So it is not that he is got that ice from his fridge and doing it. No.
I wish I'd reached this point about an hour ago before the sun had risen. What is extraordinary that I didn't expect, but I could only have dreamt of happening, is that the sun coming from there shines completely on both sides of the rock. So all the icicle is illuminated against that cliff. And I never had any idea that would happen. So the potential here is fantastic. When I make a work, I often take it to the very edge of its collapse. And that's a very beautiful balance. Drops.
This is not a snake, huh? So coming back to what we were discussing. So in short, we need to realize that we need to keep seeing and being aware of our process of seeing, because we are seeing with the eyes, but at the same time we are feeling with the senses, other senses as well. And if we become aware, then our brain will collect the data accordingly. If we shut our other senses and only use visual sense, then brain will record only visual data. You know, Nitin sir kept on using the word awareness. Okay. So that awareness means keeping all the data collection on in a way, where you are looking at the visual, listening to the sound, absorbing any smell or fragrance, at the same time feeling the touch of whatever is touching your body, so that your experience will be multidimensionally recorded by brain. Then you will also become aware what emotion is getting generated in your mind. Are you feeling pleasant? Are you feeling sad? Are you getting irritated? Are you getting angry? Whatever it might be. We generally don't spend that much of time in seeing and experiencing. Correct. Like, I always like that example. In childhood, when all siblings, we used to drink juice, one glass we used to drink for half an hour. We will drink little. Because if somebody drinks faster, then he will have to see others that, oh, they are drinking and I have finished. So, okay, slowly. So if we spend time like that, we will know how our brain or our mind is actually capturing the data. How we are seeing, sensory experiences are there, and how emotional response is also getting generated. Because once you become aware of it, you will realize how your data is stored in a folio, which we can call as metaphor. Okay, because brain requires some label. So brain is confused. Brain says, shall I put apples and bananas and papaya and jackfruit together? Or shall I use fruits as a label? Or shall I say sweet fruits as a label? So it constantly uses metaphor to create an understanding of what you are experiencing. Your emotional state might give help to the brain to decide the label, that something is pleasant or unpleasant, something is painful or not painful, and things like that. And then you will realize how you feel that I want to create art on this subject. Right now, most of the times we don't know what to draw or what to paint, what subject I should paint, isn't it? So that problem will not occur only because your mind or your brain will tell you that, this experience is such that I feel like doing a drawing, or I feel like telling a story, or I feel like writing a poem or something like that. Or if you're a musician, you may think about composing some sounds together. Okay. And that is how you will realize how artists feel to create art. So it is about knowing how your processor is. If you have an Intel processor or if you have some other processor or whatever you have. Correct. Because our brain is smarter than us, extremely smarter and intelligent than us. So if we understand it, it will be magic for us. That's why we need to understand that we all are having amazing ability to generate metaphors. We are all synesthetes. We are not aware of it. If we become aware, we can do wonders. Okay. Then you will realize that it is not, like if you go to any school classroom and ask whose art is good, most of the children point to one or two people. Then everybody will say, actually, I am good because I have great ability. My brain has great ability to generate images. If I do paint or not, it is my choice. Because see, architects look at the space. That's what Shivani was talking about, that she looks at the space and she thinks about space differently because she is trained to be architect. Correct. If we will have a dancer will say something. The way Shivani spoke about that element as well, that using your body and space around you as a tool to convey everything. Correct. So this is what everything is about. That's why we can connect, two different things and convey what we want to convey. Are we arriving at some kind of understanding? So we need to look at, what happens in art, unfortunately. And if you are going in IB school or IGCSE school and all that also, that you get caught up with information about art. This artist, that ism, that style, this medium, it is all information. By understanding information, it may help us to understand the history part of it. But if we want to understand what actually happens in art, we need to understand these processes of our brain. Then it will be fun. And the more you will be able to understand that, the more you will be able to take a decision what you want to do in your life. Do you want to become artist? Do you want to become dancer? Do you want to become painter? Okay. So let's see.